also for having me. It's great to be here, and I got to tell you, I've been a congressman for 16 months, and my colleague was talking about being called crazy. I think I've been called more than just crazy over the last 16 months. Interesting enough, and again, it's great to be here with so many good innovators, and especially here in Ohio, back in Ohio. I want to thank Tony for inviting me, but I'm also very proud to be here with my friend and colleague, Pat T-Berry, who's doing a lot for Central Ohio, all of Ohio, and also for this industry, which is great for all of us here. For those of you that don't know my background, I mean, I've dealt with medical devices and the medical field for a number of years. In fact, early in my career, I was also an EMT, so I was in that emergency room and learned very quickly that I did not want to be a doctor because I had to spend a week in training in an emergency room and thought, you know what, it's great to see what they do and what these doctors all do, but as Pat said, I had to sit down a few times too. So, but my industry also, my background also included being in the healthcare business. I'm a CPA, but I was in the nursing home business for 18 years. I owned and operated over 23 facilities, so I dealt with a lot of the products that are being manufactured. And at one point in time, I had a company that actually distributed and sold medical supplies and medical products. So, in thinking about those things, I think about this 2.3% tax and some of the regulations. And I got to tell you, looking back over that company, just the 2.3% margin that I had would have eliminated me really continuing my business in the day that I had that and sold it. So, of course, we in Washington, what I've learned in the last 16 months, a lot of times we don't have to live with the regulations that we actually come up with. And that's a problem, because for me it's been very easy for the last 16 months. I've been able to sit back and say, wow, you know, I can see where this 2.3% tax, and I can see where these regulations are very harmful, and I can see where this tax rate and all the things that we've talked about so far this morning are very troubling, because as an entrepreneur and somebody who had over 60 businesses, primarily in healthcare, over the last 28 years, as I said, I've been a congressman for only 16 months. I look at that and I say, it's so easy for me to go there and say, we just need to change this. We need to be able to give the entrepreneur the opportunity to be able to use those dollars to reinvest back and to make sure that they're employing people, especially here in Ohio. You know, when you talk about more than 35,000 medical technology industry jobs in Ohio, we need to make sure we protect that. Unfortunately, the President's healthcare law is really punishing this industry's success. You know, the Affordable Care Act, which did create the 2.3% tax on medical device sales in the U.S. beginning in 2013, that's a real issue for some of these companies. And I think about the kits, and that was brought to my attention a couple weeks ago in Washington. I mean, here we are, a company that's putting together a kit so that a doctor can prepare for a procedure, and we're taxing that kit 2.3% because we're putting all the products together. Again, gets back to when Washington is voting on regulations where they don't have to actually live with them back in the district. So we have to become better in Washington. And again, I know Pat talked about that, and I agree. We need to be able to look at these regulations, and we need to be able to look at this tax code. We need to be able to make it better for the entrepreneur to be able to grow their business and keep reinvesting in their business. One of the things that I'm working with, and I know Pat is too, Representative Eric Paulson, who actually is across the hall from me in my office building, is HR 436, the Protect Medical Innovation Act, which will repeal the tax that we're talking about. I know Pat indicated that hopefully before the end of the year we can get that passed. You know, we can simply not be competitive in an environment where there's regulations and tax policy that continue to affect us all. You know, I know that the National Manufacturing Association, which was kind of unique for me, and I agree with my colleague when you hear it, you learn so much down in Washington. It's 20% cheaper to do business outside of this country. 10% of that's the tax bill, just taxes alone. And 10% of it, the National Manufacturing Association says it's in regulation. So if you take a look at some of that, why would anybody continue to do business in the United States when you get a 10% dividend just to go, and that excludes labor. So when you think about that, because a lot of people come to me and say, well, the real problem is it's labor. And I always say to them, I give them that statistic, 20% cheaper to manufacture outside of this country. 10% is tax, 10% is regulations. And that, again, that comes from the National Manufacturing Association. Why wouldn't people consider moving outside? We need to make sure that we bring that tax code back. We need to have tax reform. We need to get regulatory reform so that we can reduce that burden. We can be competitive across, with other countries, and make sure that we can continue to grow this industry and all industries here in Ohio. Because just think of what our economy would be if we can get this jobs, the unemployment down, and our economy growing, and get entrepreneurs like everyone in this room continue to employ people here in Ohio. So again, I want to thank you for having me here today. I look forward to working with all of you to ensure really that the American medical device manufacturers remain the best and most competitive in the world. Thank you so much.